All right, so we're back. All right, so we had a little technical difficulty. I had to take care of something real quick. So let's see if this is going to come through correctly. Like I said before, there are going to be changes to the show. I'm going to be doing it solo for a little bit until Porter can basically be off of paternity leave from the show. Congratulations, he has a beautiful baby girl. I haven't seen her just yet. Seen pictures. She looks amazing. I know that he's over the moon. So anyway, this is great. So like I said before, what we're going to do is we are going to have conversations with other people. I'll probably be talking solo for now. I'm going to be talking with Porter in chats. And then when he gets up and running and ready to go, then we're going to be doing this remotely for the time being. It would be good to be able to go back and do the old way of us hanging out, us in the bar, you know, still drinking, talking about stuff, the things we like. I'm going to be throwing in some more sports stuff since I'm going to be running this part for a little bit by myself, which it's not too difficult because I know a decent amount. Um, and with the topics that we're going to be covering, sports, going through political stuff, and basically the kind of conversations that I'm going to have with certain people are going to dictate the show that we're going to have. So some will be on politics, some will be on sports, some will be on the state of the Cowboys, which I can't even look at myself in the eye in this stupid webcam right now because I'm just so disappointed in what's going on and with the season and what we're doing and the players, and it just drives me crazy. So anyway, that's going to be the state of our podcast as of right now. I am happy to talk with anyone. We're going to be just doing um, live streaming for the foreseeable future. So if anyone jumps in and you want to chat, I got the chat up. I don't know if y'all can see it, but if you can or you cannot, I will be answering questions, going through stuff. I like answering questions. So if you want to just pop in, say some stuff, and talk about whatever, I'm in. I'm a big answer question guyer. Yeah. Uh, Basically, just a little. I know that if you've been watching the show and you've listened to us and we've kind of rambled on about anything and everything because we've taken this show in a couple of different directions. We've done music, we've done politics, we've done almost no sports, just whatever I'm pissed off about or yelling about or whatever that Porter allows me to do because I don't know if you know this, but he doesn't exactly, he's not like a sports person guy kind of thing. Doesn't make him uncool. It's just not his thing. Now, if you want to talk about music with him, he'll go all day. So, um, as far as me, like from what you do know of the show, if you've watched and if you're new to it, hello, welcome to the new show or the what we're going to be doing from here on out. Um, I'm Greg. Porter is other little guy. We like to discuss all kinds of things, but like for me, I'm a big sports guy. Do football, Cowboys. I'm a Rangers fan, Spurs fan, Stars ish. I like the Stars, but I don't really know the ins and outs like I do with like the Spurs and the Dallas Cowboys, mainly the Cowboys. Like Spurs are my first love, but I love the Cowboys. So anyway, I will be giving updates on that stuff that I've seen, especially the last week that we just had. A couple days ago, we were playing the Houston Texans in whole. Whoo, that was a rough one. I mean, this entire year of watching us play a good team and just getting our ass beat every single time. It's just you start off week one against the Browns and you think that we're going to have a great season. We looked unbeatable. And then it turns out the Browns are who they are. And the Lions aren't the Lions from when I was growing up. The Lions were a laughing stock. And holy shit, are they not world beaters right now? So I don't know. We're going to see what happens with that. Kansas City finally got beat. They were undefeated up until they went against Buffalo. Buffalo kind of put it on them. They just weren't ready for it. There was too many miscues in the game for all the conspiracy theorists about how the refs are always helping them out. They weren't on their side this game. So um, here in a second, I'm expecting Porter to jump in the chats and join in the show. And so we can kind of talk a little bit about it. If there's anything that I missed, maybe he can update from afar. Um, but for right now, you just got me. So I'm hopefully it's good enough. So anyway, I don't know. This is going to be an interesting, I guess, journey that we're going to be on while we navigate through these waters. I really like. There's a couple of shows that I really like. One is specifically like Dave Smith. He's really good. I know it's kind of weird to talk about other podcasts while you're trying to do a podcast, and I think it's kind of podsy-ish if it's just me at the moment. But I digress. But I'll listen to him, and that's where you'll see a lot of my views come from because he makes a lot of sense to me, and he seems one of the most rational voices going on, and it's pretty interesting. Porter fucker, he said, podcasting bastard cast. I like it. But yeah, so I'll do that, and then one show that has me particularly interested, and I kind of want to kind of steal a little bit of what he does because what he does I really have always liked, and I don't want to try to overdo about how much I really like this, but I've been going to bars. Fuck, I'm 40 now, so shit, 20 something years. Even when I was underage, I was still going to bars, and one of my favorite things is somebody sitting next to you that you've never talked to before, and you just randomly spark a conversation, guy or girl, whoever it is, um, and just randomly talk about just whatever, and then you start getting into life stuff, and then they start telling you fucking crazy stories that you just sat down to have a little beer, hang out, watch the game a little bit. Some dude pulls up a stool right next to you, start talking about shit, and you just start hearing some wild ass stories. And that, oh, it's my favorite part to go in bars. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't do the other stuff anymore. It's just, I want to go sit there. I want to go hang out, and I just want to be by myself and do that. And occasionally I'll open up a little bit and I'll have a little conversation, and then just the shit you hear. And that is something that I kind of want to bring to this podcast while we're covering topics of the state of the world, the state of our state, our country, in whatever order you want to take that in. And then I want to be able to talk to somebody, and I want to bring people on this show and get their views on stuff, whether it's crazy or whatever. Also, if you've noticed, I while we do this podcast, I'm usually drinking a beer, and I got a dip of Copenhagen in. I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum because sometimes when I put a freshie in, I start getting lispy, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of hard to hear. So, but I look forward to actually having conversations with folks with their perspective. There's a man in particular, and I don't think he wants me to say his name, but I'm going to try to bring him on. He's a very smart guy. My problem with him is I try to function off of a rational point of view as much as I can. I try to stay real neutral, and which in turn finds me playing devil's advocate to an opposing side that I don't know always necessarily agree with. It's just if nobody's going to fight on the other side, and you're just hearing one perspective. Like, where's how can you figure out if that your perspective is correct, right? If you're only in an echo chamber of you and a couple of your friends saying the same shit to each other over and over and over and over again, well, that's not how you really debate ideas or really get the meat of what you're trying to say, or like what you really believe in, because you're not being tested by anyone else. How can you test a theory if you don't put it up to any kind of pressure, I guess? Or I don't know, there's a word I'm looking for, but it escapes me. I'm getting older, and I don't know. I feel like dementia is in my future somewhere, but it's not today. That's what, beer and conversations are for. Anywho, um, so I'm really excited for what's going to come. Porter needs to hurry up and get his shit together and stop being dad of the year to this beautiful little girl. And I'm just going to type him a little message in love. And join us on this new adventure that we're going to have. We're going to try to figure out a way to promote this, kind of, to have more viewers and more people in the chats. We don't have a Patreon. We're not going to have you pay for shit. We're not going to do extra stuff. Everything that we do is going to come straight to you. So this right here is going to give us an opportunity to put out more shows and hopefully drive people, whoever wants to join in and just have a conversation about whatever. If you got some shit, if you're going to be a dick, then we're just going to call you a dick and move on. But if you actually want to have a conversation about whatever, we still have the email, sweetliespodcast@gmail.com. You can do that. We're on Twitter, the Sweet Lies Podcast. Right now we're on YouTube. I'll try to do Rumble as soon as I get with Porter and he can show me how, because like I said before, Porter kind of ran the show and I just showed up just blabbering whatever. Now, to try to give myself a little bit of credit, I did try to prepare and give homework and have things ready to talk about. The problem was coordinating that with Porter. So half the shit I came up with, he had no clue that I was even going to bring up. So everything was pretty much a live reaction. While I'm on this journey, oh, fuck you. All right. While I'm on this journey, I will be trying to be better. I'll be a better communicator, better at helping out with the show, because this is a two-man team, and I'm going to try to hold this up on the better end of my side, because he was basically doing most of it and mine was just blabbering, and hopefully it came across and that it resonated with anybody. And from the history of what we've done, it's resonated with absolutely tens of people, and we're happy about that. So I like the fact that we got to have the shows and take it in the directions that we have. And I don't want to ramble too much. I'll get on. I guess we'll start this thing off how I've kind of wanted to try to do this. Okay, so if you have been watching sports, you are going to know that a few things are happening, right? So the Cowboys, who are my main squeeze, are awful. Now there's the debate over ownership that's been going on for about 25 years, maybe longer. Oh, kiss my ass. You provide you yeah, that's true. I did provide the garage. You know, I provided the bar, Porter. All right. If you're watching this chat, then you see it. Anyway, so if you've been watching football, you'll understand that Cowboys have been terrible. They talk about the ownership. The ownership has been more involved than it should be, and it's very frustrating. I think that we need to give up on Trayvon Diggs, and it may be unpopular, it may be popular, I don't know. But if anybody else is watching, they're going to understand that he can't cover. And all he does is go for the ball. He is not working his ass off, and it sucks. It sucks to see, but whatever. Micah Parsons is our only shining light, and I hope we hold on to him until he is done playing football in general. I don't want him to. I don't want to see him in another team. Dak Prescott, it's hard to say. He's he's an enigma because he can make all the throws, but it seems like he's playing scared. In this past, he used to, when he saw an opening, he was going to take off and run. There's been hundreds of openings, and he just refuses to run, and that's upsetting. I don't know. So this is already a trash year for us. We've what 3-6, something like that, and there's no getting out of it. We need to tank the rest of the season. We need to get an offensive line. We need to get a true middle linebacker. Kendricks is good. I think he's just getting up there. We need to give up on Mozzie Smith. We need to get something for him. Maybe we can trick somebody into giving us a third rounder for him. Tyler Guyton, he needs help. I don't know if he's our left tackle, but he doesn't look good. We need offensive line help. We need defensive back help. We can't get pressure on the ball if we can't stay with our guys. We need a new coach. Whatever magic he had when he first came in, it's gone. We got rid of too many good guys. And I know that comes with GM and ownership, that they need to make a change. If Jerry Jones wants to keep the team, he needs to just keep his hands off, which is a very tall task and tall order for him. But he needs to let go. And he needs to let somebody who is a specialist at picking up players in the GM role and get a coach who is like a Dan Campbell type, who is just blood and guts, who is going to take chances and going to go balls deep, and it's going to be about energy. So we'll see. Spurs, I guess, update on Spurs. They have an okay team. Victor Wembanyama, he's the truth. I think he's going to be good for the next 10 years. Now, he needs some rest, and he's out with a knee contusion right now. So I think this year we have a chance at making the playoffs, and we probably lose in the first round. But I think with the right pieces, we have a real shot to making another run. So bringing another chip in to San Antonio would be nice. We got 5. I mean, shit, quest for 6, I guess. All right, state of the world. As you know, we haven't talked about politics and anything in the last I think since July. That was the last thing that we put up. So we had an election. Trump won. There's mixed feelings about that from this podcast. Not really mixed feelings. We were on Trump's side pretty much the whole time. Now, after he got shot, we pretty much called it. And then from that momentum, Biden dropped out. Kamala Harris took up the reins. I think, and this is super late, and I understand, like, we have a lot of catching up to do. As far as getting our perspectives on stuff, I think she was, if the Democrats really wanted a chance to win the election, they fucked up by putting her there. They could have had time to have a primary, and they just didn't do it. They lied to themselves, and they told everyone that Joe Biden's awesome, and he's more there than anybody else, and he's more with it. And you don't see him outside of closed door meetings, like he's there, he's awesome, he's great, he's cognitive, it's amazing. And then we saw the debate with him and Trump, and it was obviously untrue. He shouldn't have been there, right? He should have been a one-term president. And then when his faculties were starting to fail him, he should have coasted and let the democratic process happen and have somebody there to really combat Trump if they really wanted a shot at winning the election. And it just didn't happen. So they put just this ball of nothing, no personality, just doesn't know dick. Up there is like, yeah, you can call her smart lady all you want, but she's not suited for this job. Uh, you could just tell by they treated her with kid gloves. The only person that really pushed her was Porter. You there? Who is that interview she had? Let's see if he responds. But Brett Baer, I think it was Brett Baer, and he actually pushed her on on topics and policies and stuff like that. And it's weird if you see that depending on what side of the aisle you're actually looking at it. So if you're looking at from the Democratic, if you're coming from the left and you're watching that interview, you think that she did amazing. She's awesome. She handled it well. They put her to the fire and she came out on top and, she did all the blah, 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 all that shit. Okay. I mean, I guess you can make that argument. I don't see how if you're a rational, unbiased person. Now, if you look at it from the right, you're thinking, the fuck was that? You didn't answer anything. He pushed you on all these questions and you just completely said a bunch of nothing. I had a debate with my friend Frank, and he's like, "Oh well," I was like, "Dude, she never got pushed. Like, look at all her interviews." And the Brett Baer one, I think that was his name. He's like, "You need to watch this. He really pushed her." I was like, "Okay, all right, I'll give it a shot." I was like, "I guess I missed that one. I saw the other ones, and they just kind of treated her with kid gloves." I'm like, "Oh, that's fucked up." All right, let's see this interview. So I watched the interview in its entirety, and I just texted him back, and I said, "Dude, I don't know what the fuck you just watched, but you need different eyes because from what I saw, trying to give her a chance, because if you're going to go into anything, like any kind of shit, what's the word? Like whenever you're just any kind of situation where you're going to try to see it with fresh eyes, you want to give it a chance to see what the other people are trying to say. All right, well, maybe I can be fair. I can look at um I could be open-minded when I see, someone speaking and just see what they got to say because maybe he was right. Maybe they say, he pushed her on all these policies and she fired back. It's like, no, bitch, we're going to do it like this. And let me detail every single little line of what I said. Sorry for getting too far. Let me go down one by one. And this is my policy on this. This is what I'm going to do here. And this is the negative repercussions on this. But in the long run, it's going to outweigh it because of this, 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 this. And then we're going to do this about immigration. And I understand that this is going to be a pain in the ass for these people or the American taxpayers or whatever. But we have to implement this. And this is why. And blah, blah, blah. And this is all my reasons why. Cool. If you did that, whether I agree with you or not, I would say at least she has convictions on something, right? She has an idea of what she's doing and she has an agenda like of her own volition, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't think that's right. I'm not the smartest person, but I do the best I can. So, but yeah, at least you would have some conviction and you ask her about what policy she wants and she'll be able to tell you exactly why she wants to implement it and this is why. She couldn't do that because they weren't like the shit that she was talking about she didn't know anything about. Hey, do me a favor, come on, what's explain taxes to me, explain all the finances and what is, what, describe inflation to me. Talk like the best of your knowledge. Tell me what that is. I want to know. I bet if they asked her that, she'd just look at you. Well, I came from a okay. It's been tired. Everyone says the same shit about her. Anyway, so I don't know. It's interesting what they did. She got her ass beat. You could say all these people because here's where it comes down to. She got beat, and Porter, you can correct me on this. I think She got beat by 5 million votes, I think. But what's interesting is, if you put the map up there, she won all these states. She had this amount of, electoral college votes, and that's great. But if you would have put a fucking duck in that seat, or just if you would have put me there, or just some random person, how many Democrats were going to vote Democrat no matter what? Because my assertion to this whole thing is like they didn't vote for her because she's nothing, right? How many people actually support? They voted against Trump. Now, what is stronger? Voting for someone out of love or voting against someone out of hate? Now, hate will get you so far, but I think that's the reason why he won. It's crazy that, yeah, I agree, Porter. Yeah, her position was generally unclear and flip-flopped a lot of stuff. And that's the thing is if she would have just stuck to her guns, like the stuff that she ran on 2020, yeah, she got blasted out of the universe by Tulsi Gabbard. She didn't even make it to Iowa, but everybody knows that. But if she had been like, or if she would explain, hey, I changed my mind about stuff because we all change our mind. It's like we don't want to. We grow. We have new experiences. We change. We experience different things, and then we're like, oh well, now my perspective's different now because now I have more life experience, whatever. I keep saying experiences. I don't mean to, but we change your mind. So all right. So tell me why you changed your mind. Well, I noticed this and this and this, and I see these policies and how it negatively affected and the stuff that I was going to run on, and I don't want to do that anymore. Cool. Everybody would have understood, right or wrong. So, and it doesn't matter what you do, somebody's going to hate you for it, no matter what. You could make all the sense in the world, but the thing is she didn't provide enough. I don't know. She didn't provide enough, I guess, balls to her campaign, and you could tell she just was reading off a teleprompter and just she lost. And it sucks for everyone crying and screaming, but I don't see any riots going on right now, and I don't see any, big protests and the freak out that happened in 2016. Maybe she was just that bad of a candidate. They're just like, she couldn't have beat her. She couldn't have beat him. I'm still trying to get a handle on this Israel-Palestine conflict. I looked at this. I'm gonna look it up, and I'll try to ramble while I'm looking this up because I have it on my phone because for something I was listening to. Is something on Ukraine and the Russia conflict, and I highly recommend it. It's as soon as I can find it, I will be able to tell you what I listened to. Yeah, it's not there, so I got to figure out who it was. I'll update you next time we talk. It's this, basically talking about 2014, the state of Russia and Ukraine, how we got to this, whatever. And like it was from, I think, October 2014. I think right when the real conflict between Ukraine and Russia started heating up, and then obviously in a couple years ago, then it really took off, and it could have been completely avoided. And they're just, I don't know who to blame because it's hard. Like I'm not a Putin apologist. We all have our opinions about him, and say what you will about him, but he said don't sign Ukraine into NATO. That's fine. They can do whatever they want. That is their choice, but it is also their choice to do something that is a direct provocation to Russia. It just is. And the point that I heard, and I think it was one of the libertarian guys, and I think it might have been Dave Smith, but the point that made a lot of sense to me is like, what if China got into a military alliance with Mexico? Do you think that the US would be okay with that? The answer is no. They would not stand for that shit. Uh, I mean, shit, look at the Cuban Missile Crisis. And that wasn't even on our border. So, Russia, I mean, Putin and Russia, they said that they're not going to they're not going to do anything as long as they don't put Ukraine into NATO. And that's the whole "niet means niet" shit. And they did it anyways. And, you knew what was going to happen. You did it anyway. And I don't blame you for trying, but you try to call his bluff and it fucking sucks. We still have to make it to January 20th. And so this is from Porter because he's watching it and kind of giving his little 2 cents. If y'all can see this, cool. If not, Porter, we still have to make it to January 20th, and there's always January 6th. U.S. authorized use of attacks in Ukraine. Russia has just escalated their terms of nuclear engagement. Cool. Yeah. Okay, what do you mean by that? Authorized use of what is that? Is that anti-aircraft missiles? That doesn't register for. Hey, spell that whole thing out there, Porter. But yeah, I didn't know that the U.S. authorized use in Ukraine. Okay. Oh yeah, tell me what that is. Russia just escalated their terms of nuclear engagement. How'd they escalate? I need to catch up. Like I've been falling far behind. I keep running into this thing where I'm falling into the past, meaning like I start going into the history of things, so I kind of lose track of what's going on currently because I want to understand where we come from and why we've gotten to the position that we are now. And then weeks go by because I'm a slow reader. And then I got a complete understanding on where we are today. And it's like, hold on, I just missed weeks of this shit. Now what happened? And you know how the political atmosphere is and, news. I mean, shit, I learned the whole shit with Osama bin Laden. Like, obviously, I know who he is, but his whole point was to draw. He knew by hitting the Twin Towers that he wasn't going to topple our government. He knew that was going to happen. He couldn't do it. Same thing with Hamas. With the attack on October 7th, that they weren't going to, dismantle Israel with it. But Osama bin Laden did say that he was using this as an attempt to bring us into basically a Vietnam. He doesn't want to fight over here. He wants us to come over there and waste our resources. And it worked. And even his son said, like, even after he was gone, he did an interview with somebody. I don't remember who it said it was. And he's like, yeah, my dad wanted to draw the U.S. into a long, Vietnam style war, and to have you basically bankrupt the country, and got pretty damn close looking at the state of things. I mean, look how much resources and time got thrown into that 20-year war. It's crazy. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I do know about the cluster bombs. Yeah. Have they actually used them? And by authorized in those Army tactical missile systems in Ukraine, does that mean that they're authorized to use them against Russia, or they're authorized for Russia to use them against Ukraine? I'm assuming it's the former. But I don't know. This world's crazy. It's going to be interesting to see how what shapes up and what stuff that Trump actually does as far as foreign policy goes. What he's because you can go off of rhetoric and all the bombastic shit and the flamboyant talk, but I don't know. Oh, and another thing that while we're, you know, traversing into these waters, I really need to find a good solid argument for these vouchers for schools. I can't find one that makes any sense. I see what they're trying to go for it, but there's no way that it doesn't fuck over a whole bunch of people. And yeah, you got to crack some eggs and they have to implement it. And I know it's been implemented in other places, but I don't know. Every teacher that I've talked to, and I've talked to plenty. Oh, Ukraine started using cluster bombs in Russia today. Cool. That's not going to fucking set off some shit. God damn. I need to get a reload, so I apologize. But, mm, I don't know. I don't. I don't like. We need to hurry up and try to sit down with them and have some kind of negotiation because this is just gonna. It's gonna spread, and we're gonna get more people involved, and not everybody's gonna come out of this negotiation happy, but just like Trump said, and he was out of all the things he said about foreign policy, this one he was 1000% right on. And I think a lot of people, it resonated with a bunch of people. He's like, I want the dying to stop. And I do too. And I'm sure the people in Ukraine and I don't know. It's crazy. So I don't know. I don't see I don't know. I don't see where we go from here, but hopefully we can figure this out together. We can have conversations about it. Hopefully we can swap some stories with some interesting people, maybe some not so interesting ones. Not every story is going to be a banger. Some people can't tell stories, me included. I'm not a storyteller. I can talk with the best of them and I can listen and I can ramble, but I've never been good to tell a good story. Maybe that's why I'm not a comedian. I don't know. But that's where we are. Hopefully soon we'll get Porter back on here. Until then, it will be me updating you on the things that's going on, and then having conversations with people and doing all the things that I said and rambled about probably 30 fucking times by now. But all right, Porter, thank you for joining the chat. We will see you later, and then you can tell me how to finish this off. All right. And also, I need to get our theme music so we can put it on this too. So, anyway, appreciate it. Thanks for everything you do, and keep watching.